What is up, guys? Evan Aldo here. Welcome back to the channel. Been away a couple days. I was sick with a cold. Feeling better now. I wanted to give you guys an update. Not too much has happened. I think, we did make a new all-time high for Bitcoin and rejected pretty harshly, from that 126 area. Long story short, you got trigger wave forming on the 5 hours. There's some potential here. It's a little bit conflicting. I could see this week being a little bit, more boring for the market. And I think things will really start to get rolling probably in the second, 2 weeks of this month. And, you kind of have a technical target. You look, you broke up, kind of above there. And your general technical target would be probably around, high 130s. When could you hit that? I mean, probably, hopefully by the end of this month, early November, high 130s. That could be a potential market cycle yearly peak. It's absolutely possible. The thing that I like on the macro that's still pretty good, the 3-week, this confirms in a while, 18 days, but this looks really good for continuation. So your macro still looks really good. The same with the 2-week. And I would argue that probably the next red dot on the 2-week and the 3-week, probably the 3-week should be good enough, honestly. I mean, and that should, fortunately, that shouldn't be until like at least November, I would think. Would probably be your market cycle top. So it's a pretty good sell signal too, especially if you've been in since 20K, 30K, 18K, areas like that. So there's that potential, but ultimately things still look good. I mean, you look at some of your lower time frames here, like I mentioned, trigger wave at the 5 hours. So I would assume that you should be okay here. I think one or two things doesn't happen. One, you just jump up, on one of these trigger waves here, or two, maybe you got to retest 116 again. You get boring for a little bit, then you kind of jump up more. So yeah, I mean, there's that definite potential right there. 120 is kind of a big line in the sand, so I can see it consolidating here, then potentially, jumping upward. I think at this point you probably won't lose, 120 or 119 or whatever. I think you've just been too range bound. Like you need to either break upward or break downward. In all likelihood, it's probably gonna be upward. So that's what I'm looking at right now. I mean, in terms of a trade for Bitcoin, you could try. I think it's a little early. Well, you could, the 4 hour. You could try. Would be careful, but you could try something like this. It's an easy 2-to-1, pretty low risk, high reward right there. So that could potentially be what you're looking at right there. And if you guys are interested in trading, I don't even have it up right now, but check out the links down below for BYDFI and BloFin. Links are in the description below before the Discord. The Discord, I give a lot of, stop losses, take profits, entry points. Down below, we got KMAC in there, we got Nightchain there, which are both excellent traders. They give a lot of trades as well. If you want a free month in the Discord, check out BloFin, check out BYDFI down below. Sign up and deposit at least $100 with my link, and we'll give you one free month in All Empire VIP Discord. Just make sure you open a support ticket with your email or your UID. And we'll get you sorted for the free month there. In addition, with both of those exchanges, you get 20% off your fees for life. So check it out if you guys are interested. The trigger wave's kind of forming on, there, like I mentioned. So yeah, let's move on to Ethereum right now. I don't think there's major cause for concern on Ethereum until you get a red dot on your 3-week or your 2-week. Kind of, you could be close on the 2-week. We'll keep an eye on this, but I guess that would be kind of worst case scenario. Double top from your previous bull run high, similar to Litecoin, last cycle. But I think she's got a little bit more in her, at least, you know what I mean? And it looks decent for continuation here. Your money flow, looks pretty good. You did reject a little bit. You got some trigger waves forming, so be careful. But I think you should be all right. Here, and I don't think you would lose kind of like 4,300. Obviously, I could be wrong, but I don't think you'd lose this kind of area here. So, I mean, in terms of a trade, if you were to go below that, swing low, something like this probably works out. Or if you wanted to get more lenient and target higher numbers. So I think, if we wanted to really look at what could happen here, I mean, into, early November, Bitcoin at high 130s, 140 would easily be 5,800 for Ethereum. Then hopefully we could extend into end of November, maybe even December for 7,300. That's kind of the high of what I think over the year would be 7,300 in my humble opinion. ETH versus Bitcoin, I think it could come down a little bit lower, maybe hit this area. There are a couple things that are like not as bullish as they were, like that daily looks pretty bearish, but I don't think you're going to break down that much more, you know what I mean? I don't think it's going to be like that bad. Like your money flow curvature on a Lundy still looks good, and I think you could, generally break upward. Look at the 3-day, you got a trigger wave there. If you could even get half of this, you'd easily be well on your way to evaluations of April 24. So, I mean, yeah. Still not the highest evaluations that we're looking for, but just to get back to those 22 June lows, we'll take that for this cycle, or hopefully a little bit higher too. I think next cycle, ETH will show more strength against Bitcoin too. So, yeah, long way away though. ETH or Bitcoin dominance, it could probably come up a little bit more. I could see a rejection from 60%. I do think that once you get this trigger wave 2 on the 3-day, that probably would, be nailed in the coffin for this for a while. And then you see probably, hopefully you could see a same situation as that. And then you're back down to 50%. I mean, if that is following that trajectory, hold on. Yeah, into December, yeah, kind of that area. I mean, I kind of don't think you would go all the way back down to these lows anytime soon. But, yeah, probably another drop down. So that's what we're looking at there. Others, versus Bitcoin trigger wave forming on that 3-day, I think that would be the big place where, you should finally break upward and really see some, momentum here, similar to what you saw at the end of 2023, end of 2024. So, yeah. And others versus ETH, a very similar situation. Well, I would say macro, even better here, 3-week trigger. So, some situation like that, hopefully, and I think we could see some strength for alts. A little drop right there. Some trigger waves forming, looking pretty good. Some altcoins, people asked me about flow. Somebody asked me about flow. Making higher lows, hopefully you jump up to 70 cents or more. That's a nice double or whatever. I think a lot of altcoins should be able to do a double. You got true wave set downside on Solana a little bit, but ultimately I do think that, I mean, if you argue, a break above there, you got a really high technical target. I don't think it's going to go that high because it's already such a high market cap crypto already. But to break above this area would bring you up to 400. So I think that's doable. 300 to 400 by end of year, I think is absolutely doable here. And like I mentioned, I think, we'll see more of the ball start to roll a bit in the second half of this month. But some of these trigger waves can make that happen a little bit sooner. 3-week is interesting on Avalanche. Came into the green here, sell signal. Came into the green here, sell signal. Notice the pattern? Hopefully this time's different. And I think a lot of times the third time is different because people may be getting scared away right now. But then, we jump up to 48 before, within a few weeks, within a month, 48, and then 60, and so on and so forth. Hopefully even higher maybe. So I think there is some potential there. Short term, that rejection from that area, not the best thing in the world, but look for some bull divs, higher low here. Hopefully this could be our bottom, $28. So we'll see. And Chainlink, that's another rejection from that area. But yeah, I mean, you're not that far away, a little over a double from your old all-time high. So I think a lot of alts could potentially be able to pull that off. So let's just keep that in mind here. There's a lot of that, kind of potential coming up there. Trigger waves potentially, bring you up a little bit higher. We'll see what happens. Link ETH keeps making higher lows this area. A little bit of patience here, guys. I think that 3-week is going to, give us a little something here, a little something over the next month or two. So, yeah. And last but not least, I wanted to look at, Cardano. Trigger wave forming to the downside on that 2-week. Yikes. But 3-week, the same thing. We'll see what happens. It wouldn't scare me too much unless it actually prints. You got money flow still coming up here. It's a very boring project. I mean, 126 there, that was back in December. I mean, it hasn't done too much, but sometimes when it hasn't done too much for a while and it coils up for a while, then you get the big jump. Look at what happened to Chainlink back. Probably going to zoom out for it a little bit, but yeah, back here, and you got a giant jump up. So it could be, some situation like that, and then you get your giant jump up to over $2, and everybody's magically back in the green again. So just keep that in mind here, guys. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much all I have for you guys right now. If you're interested, if you like the video, always appreciate you guys smashing the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'll see you guys in Discord really soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.